What's happening, everyone? We're going to talk about what happened at the Houston Marathon and cover some Q&A from the community.
What was your goal for the Houston Marathon?
My goal was to hit a sub 250 marathon. Previously, my best time was a 257, but I ended up hitting a 259.35.
How did you feel about not hitting a PR?
Honestly, it was a little disappointing not hitting a PR. Typically, every race I've gone to, I've gotten a little bit faster, but I think with this round of training, it was a quicker training block. I only did about 7 weeks of proper marathon training going into the Houston Marathon. And honestly, with a bunch of travel and work trips, I probably hit 70 to 75% of the actual workouts, which obviously wasn't ideal, and it's not the proper way that you should go through a training block. I love talking about the rule of thirds when it comes to marathon training. A third of your workouts are gonna be really freaking good. They're gonna feel really freaking strong. Another third are gonna just be kind of average workouts that you got through. And then another third are gonna be kind of shit workouts that weren't the best, that weren't ideal. But in a long marathon block, you're gonna kind of have a bit of all of those. And I feel like through this training block, I had a lot of days that were kind of off days, which was unfortunate, but we still ended up hitting a sub 3 hour in Houston.
What is your advice to people who didn't hit their goals?
I think for anyone that didn't hit their goals, I would just say don't beat yourself up too much. It gets really easy to judge yourself like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't take advantage of this race, or all the hours I put into training and X, Y, and Z. I mean, you can beat yourself up maybe for like a day, but at some point, just understand that you gave your best effort. And I think that's the best thing that I would lean into. There's some people that hit PRs and then there's some people that didn't, but ultimately it's just about how you perceive it in your own mind. If you didn't hit a PR, and you're beating yourself up saying, oh my God, I'm never gonna run a race again, I'm not fast enough, I'm not good enough, then that's gonna become your reality. But if you flip it to the other end and think more positively, if you gave your best effort, if you trained hard, there's always gonna be another race you can get into. And I think that would be the message I would tell someone is you can always find another race. Just because you didn't hit it this race, it doesn't mean that you can't hit it in your next. It took me 2 years, 4 different marathons to finally hit a sub 3 hour one. So I think for anyone out there, if you didn't hit your goal, just get back on the horse and don't beat yourself up too much.
What challenges did you face during this race?
This race for me was just a little bit warm. I think I was used to just being in the Northeast. Then I was in Tahoe in Colorado. The climates were a lot different. And then coming back to Texas, I love Texas, but it's warmer, especially in January where you just can't really predict what the weather's gonna be. You know, last year when I ran in Austin, it was 35 degrees. In Houston, it started at 50 degrees and it warmed up to 62, 63. So every race is gonna have its own challenges. Houston itself for the first 20 miles was relatively flat. The last 10K, the last 6 miles, there were some rolling hills that obviously at the end of a race, if you're dealing with some rolling hills and you don't have that much juice left, it gets a lot tougher to deal with that. But that would be the biggest thing for this race. I would say the weather was tough and then kind of dealing with rolling hills at the end of the race.
How many bathroom breaks did you take?
I took 2 bathroom breaks during the freaking Houston Marathon. The first one was at mile like 7 to pee because I drank so much freaking coconut water. I was like chugging coconut water on the walk into the race. And then I took another bathroom break. I had to take a dump at like mile 16 and a half, mile 17, right around that mark. And obviously in a race, and I'm still working through my nutrition and my kind of process of how to really maximize a marathon because I've always had to take a shit. And the past 2 races I've done in marathon specifics, I had to take a dump. And like, it kind of just, it throws you off of your groove, right? You're in that flow state, you're moving, and obviously your mind is also thinking about this. When I was on the pod with Mark and them, they were like, dude, how do you like shit so fast? Well, part of it is like, I had to shit at mile 10. So if you hold that in for 6, 7 miles, it gets to the point where it's just very uncomfortable to run. You have like the bubble guts and all that stuff. So unfortunately, I had to take 2 bathroom breaks.
Why did you run under a different bib?
This has been the news of the year for me. If you guys didn't know, there's an article written about me in Marathon Investigation regarding the bib that I used for the Houston Marathon. And quite frankly, I completely forgot to sign up for Houston. So by the time I tried to get my bib and register for the race, all registration was closed for both charity and for their just open registration. So once that happened, I kind of had to figure out, what am I gonna do? Like, there's 2 options really. One is don't run in the race, and basically your training is gonna have to then lead into your next race, whatever that is. Or try to find someone with a different bib. Maybe someone got hurt, maybe someone's traveling and they couldn't make it to the race, because that obviously happens quite often. But once I reached out to friends in the running community to see if anyone had extra bibs, I found one and I tried to transfer that bib to my name. But Houston doesn't allow transfers of bibs. And every race is a little bit different. Some do and some don't. And in this case, I wasn't able to transfer it. So I was kind of in that pickle again, like, do I run, do I not run? Obviously, I ended up running. My goal and intent was not to qualify for someone else or run someone else's race or cheat the race system or disrespect the running community as a whole. Honestly, I just wanted to run, and I think my irresponsibility and like my procrastination of not signing up earlier really came into light, obviously, with this race. And I typically don't hide anything from you guys. Like, I make all my videos of 5 weeks out for marathons, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, whatever it is. So this for me was just a lack of focus and not signing up earlier. Obviously, there's not much I can do at this point, but I do want to apologize for anyone that might have been affected or offended by my actions. As someone that's kind of newer into the running community, right? Like, I'm only a couple years into this space. My goal and intent has never been to kind of disrespect the sport. I only want to spread positivity and help inspire other people to move their body and maybe get into a race. Like, there's nothing more enjoyable for me than being part of the running community. I'm super thankful for it. So that is why I ran under someone else's bib.
What did you learn about yourself after this marathon?
I think the biggest thing I learned about myself is that I'm actually unattached to the result. Even though I didn't hit the time that I wanted to, even though I ran under someone else's bib, and like, these things are not like positives in that sense, like, I just don't get mad at myself. I don't judge myself too hard, because at the end of the day, I know that I gave my best effort. And even though the time doesn't result in a PR, like, I know as a human that I gave my most on that day last week. And that's kind of all you can ask for if you're a human being. Like, as long as you're living your life to the fullest and you're living your life the best way that you know how to do it, that's really all you can ask for. And even though I didn't hit the PR, even though I didn't do all the right things for this race, I think the biggest reflection I have on myself is just like, you know, not beating yourself up too much, because in this world, you're not gonna be able to please everyone. I think when you sit in the seat that I'm in, sometimes that's kind of the goal. Is like, you want people to rock with you. You want people to like you. You want people to build in your community. But ultimately, the biggest thing I learned was not to beat yourself up too much and not to please everyone.
Matt, do you have anything you want to say to people that have been following you on this journey?
Yes, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been following me on this journey for the past couple years, whether it's been on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you might have found me. I really am thankful for all of you guys. You know, through this ups and downs, even through this kind of, you know, fiasco with the marathon bibs and all that stuff, you know, it's been a ton of positive support, a ton of kind words, and words of encouragement from a lot of you guys. And I just really am thankful and appreciative of it. Honestly, I never thought when I first started making videos that I would grow a community at this size, especially in the running and health and wellness space. Like, it quite frankly is very new to me still. And I'm honored and beyond humbled to sit where I sit now, to help inspire and help spread inspiration and positivity to people all around the world. And that's really the only intent I have with my content. For whoever may have been affected or offended by my actions of bib muling or using someone else's bib, I do apologize for my actions. My intent was never to disrespect the running community or cheat the system or run for someone else. It honestly has always come from a place of just wanting to challenge myself. I hope you guys understand. Thanks again for following along this journey. We hit 100,000 followers over the past like a week or two, so I can't thank you guys enough. It's been such an amazing honor to be a part of this community and to help grow it as well. I will be announcing the next race that I'll be running, and I'll make sure, and I'm already freaking registered for that race, so I'll be announcing that very soon. Other than that, that is the Houston Marathon takeaways. We will see you guys in the next one. Deuces, peace!